Hey guys, what's going on? So welcome back to the workout series. Today, as you see right here, we're snatch priming up. We're priming up for our snatch. We're getting ready. We're doing some Olympic weightlifting to kind of really tax the central nervous system, get all that fun athletic-based movements done in the beginning, hit into some squats, and then do some instability with some Bulgarian split squats. However you say it, Bulgarian, who cares? But I want to emphasize right now on the fact that I'm priming up a lot, right? Priming up and warming up for your movements is especially crucial into having a good day with both power and just a good day in your body, right? You don't want to feel like shit after you've done a workout. You want to feel like you worked out, you did a good job. Things feel like they got worked in the proper ways and you're moving, right? You don't want to be crippled. Your joints don't want to be hurting and this and that. You want to feel nice. So even before this, I spent a good half an hour or so mobilizing earlier that morning. And then I had just went straight into priming up, got myself warm, made sure I looked at my technique in every aspect that I could, did my things that I had to do. Like for instance, you see that I started off with a tall snatch, went to a drop snatch, and here I am with the mid-hang snatch. And as you see, there's certain rusty parts, right? I took clips from both the beginning, middle, and end of them, and then I put it into this sequence. So here we are. After I've primed up all that much, I'm going to do one more primer of just a regular snatch. I'm going to do 3 reps at 65 pounds. I'm not going heavy today because simply I'm really working on getting everything mechanically down with these movements before I start working towards heavy loads. Just because I don't want to mess up anything, like I had emphasized on before, guys. Even here, I wanted to fix the clip because I felt like something was off, right? If you have one little thing, one little error, that can lead to a whole world of a mess when it comes to a workout. So you need to make sure whether you're doing Olympic lifts, powerlifting, strongman, or bodybuilding, everything feels right. Warm up properly, get the movement down, feel your bracing is like proper, your breathing's proper, everything. It has to be solid, because if you start off with a fucked up foundation, you're going to build a fucked up workout. And with a fucked up workout, you're going to have a fucked up body. That's a lot of the F-bomb, but you get the point of that, and I hope that that comes across very strongly, because that's the intention here. So what I'm doing here is I'm going up to 95 pounds, and I'm going to stay at 95 pounds. I know I could do more, but if I can do more right now with effectiveness and I can get my technique really, really, really clean so that when I do progress in the next few weeks to higher weights, that I don't mess up anything and I continuously progress rather than digressing, it's my best bet. So with that being said, guys, I'm starting off with my snatch because especially if you're going to do any Olympic weightlifting, you're going to want to do that in the beginning, because even if you look right there with what I just did, I still got a little off balance. I'm a little unsteady. Now, if I were to do this after doing my squats, it would have been a nightmare. I would have never been able to keep my composure. My legs would have been trembling. I would have been all over the place, falling forward, falling backwards. I might have even had to dive for it. So what I'm making sure I'm doing is I'm getting really my most taxing and neurological stimulating movements down first, and then working into things that would accent it. So for instance, here I am doing my snatches. I'm doing the 3 sets of 3 at 95 pounds. And then after that, I'm going to do some back squat to emphasize on the squatting motion of the snatch. And this is the thing too, when you're creating any kind of workout for yourself, you want to think about the movement in particular that you want to work on that day, right? And this pertains to when you're doing powerlifting, Olympic lifting, athletic-based exercise, or whatever the case is. Because especially when you're an athlete, you want to make sure as an athlete, you're working on your movements, because the movements will take care of your muscle groups for you as long as you're doing the movements correctly, right? If that makes any sense to you. Now, there's going to be weak points in your movements that you're going to want to work on. And those are the things that you would branch out to towards the end. So for instance, I did my snatch so I can get that overhead squat in, also at the same time getting the explosiveness off the ground and building that prime technique of really aggressive power, just from the ground, right straight up and all the way through, coming down, catching it, popping right back up with it, right? I need to get that better response because that will attribute to my squat a tremendous amount. I have a hard time from down in the hole when I'm squatting. Being able to build this elastic effect with the snatch it will ultimately just help me exponentially when it comes to my squat. The same with the pull. The pull is down from a squatting like position when you're doing your snatch. So it's just overall creating power from the bottom. This is things that I need to do for my squat in order to improve upon it. So that's what I'm doing. I kind of work the two movements together in such a way that I'm never really capping myself out. I'm always looking for better ways to optimize my movement, right? And that's what it's all about, guys. So I'm just doing this here, and then what I'm going to do in just a moment is I'm going to start squatting, right? I just want to do one more rep here. See how I was a little unstable, so I wanted to make sure I was good. I was in my good position, and then I finished the rep off. So here I am priming up again. I know you might want to say like, oh, just go to your heavy weight. But like I said, I'm going into a new movement now, especially I want to make sure I'm primed, and I'm just going to gradually build my way up. So I'm at 135 now. I'm going to go from 135, 185, 225, and then 245, right? I'm going to just do that, a progression of 4 sets, 3 reps of each, trying to keep the same tension in every single movement best I can. Knees staying out, chest staying up, glutes tucking nice and tight, abs bracing like all hell, and I'm just trying to keep it clean. I'm trying to replicate the best movement I can as I progress up the chain. And that's also another thing that I've always loved to do, is I like to start at a lower weight and then build my way up gradually. Because if I start at my lower weight and I'm able to keep that good form, then I go up by a little bit and I keep that good form. Like, look at that. That was very replicant of the same thing I just did with 135. And I know it's nothing heavy, not yet, but I'm keeping my structure. I'm building my body to say, look, you got to stay like this. This is what you got to do. Because I see a lot of lifters out there that their knees will buckle around and move and their back will twist and this and that. I'm one of those people that's a little OCD when it comes to all of this. So even if you see me struggling at the bottom, you'll see my knees slightly buckling, but I'll immediately work my ass off to push, literally work my ass off because you're using your gluteus for that. But I'll work my ass off to push those knees out. See that? I try to keep the torque really high when I'm doing this so that way the lockout at the top is nice and strong and powerful. And especially after a couple years ago, like I told you guys, my leg broke, I lost a lot of stability. So I've been working heavily on stability, really keeping glute control, really keeping an upright torso when I squat, and just doing my best to be perfect when I'm doing my lifts. That way, when I do eventually want to go to extreme heavy weights, I can keep my composure together because I consistently train my body to stay at one pattern, no matter what kind of load I was placed under, right? Now, I could have easily jumped to this weight and did this weight, but also you're going to see after the snatches, all the primer work I did there and the build up from this, I'm going to die out pretty well on this. I'll be honest with you. My legs were sore for a good 2 days. I did this like maybe half a week ago. Actually, no, just about a week ago I did this workout actually. And as you see, I'm grinding out with this 245. That's about 81% of my max at a 300 pounds. And especially after everything that I had done before, it was just brutal. So that's what I did. And I finished off with some Bulgarian, however you say it, split squats. I did 3 sets of 12 with 25-pound dumbbells, working on getting my stability good, dropping the knees, try to drop the knees straight down as possible, try to keep the chest upright best as possible. I do have some trouble with this, especially with if you look at my ankle, I have trouble with plantar flexion completely. So as you notice, my ankle's not as mobile as I wanted it to be at this particular moment, just because I probably had ended up clenching it or tightening it up during the workout in efforts to keep my body nice. But if you can even see here, this ankle right here, this ankle sits so much nicer on the bench than the left one did. And that grants me with a lot more stability from that end. But also the left side's my weaker side. So now I'm facing with myself with another problem. So that's been one thing. I do a lot of different dynamic stabilization exercises, especially for my legs, because I feel that from the ground up, you should be strong, stable, and confident. And that's what I've always believed in working on. So I do this. I do different approaches with step ups. I do single leg glute bridges, whatever the case may be. I'm always working on trying to create some stability without the stability involved. So I love doing things like this, or even back way to the point when I did those single leg deadlifts that I showed you guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie and tell you I'm awesome at everything. I am awful with stability, and that's why I work on it and value it so much. That's why I value functional exercise and functional strength so much, because after my injury, I had saw the major impact it made on my workouts to create all this instability in order to adjust to it and make my body adapt to become stable under any circumstance possible. So knowing what I know from that previous experience of having all this dysfunction and all these problems, this is why through my workout series and my mobility series, I really strictly enforce good form, proper function, proper mechanics, recruit the right muscles. And that's why I talk in such high depth and have such long, really information-packed videos. That's really what it boils down to, guys, because these are things that I wish I had learned a little bit more when I had initially broken my leg. Now, I've got a lot of resources that I've used, but I try to put as much information in there as possible so that you guys can really see what it is behind a workout, right? Because, I mean, anybody can look online and find a workout program, but you never really know what you're going to get out of it until you understand what the person was intending it to be for. The same way, if you listen to a song, you're never going to know what the song was meant for or anything like that. You can have your own interpretation of it, but at the end of the day, the writer had certain thoughts in mind when creating the composure. The same way, like I said, the workouts. So that's why I show you guys my workouts. I want you to know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how this affects me, so that way you can utilize this to your advantage and possibly make your workouts better. So with all this stuff that I'm doing here, as you can see, it all attributes to the squat mechanic. A lot of glute, a lot of quad. The hamstrings got a little bit of ripping, not too crazy. Adductors definitely got a beating, and that's pretty much it, guys. I was just working on the squat mechanic today between the snatch, the actual squat itself, and then the Bulgarian split squat. It's just a really heavy, intensive squat day with instability, athleticism, and power. That's what it boils down to, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, subscribe for more of these awesome videos, and check out the awesome things we're doing on our Facebook and website. All right, guys, that's all the time I got today. Take it easy.